Welcome back to Market Pros, and here we have Bitcoin on the daily. As you see, we have cracked down and back into the range, had a little bit of a pop up, got front ran by the 21. Now it looks like we're coming back down. We did just enter the bearish control zone, even got a retest of the top. Now it seems like we're going to get the resumption down. Got rejected from the zero line on the MACD. Fresh cross to the signal line to the downside as long as we close the daily in the negative. And we're starting to print a dark red bar on the histogram. BBWP has crossed above the moving average and out of the 10 percentile. So here comes the move that we've been talking about. Here comes the move that we've been talking about. All right, so let's go down to the 8-hour. 8 hours, same thing. Bearish control zone below your signal line, MACD. Negative momentum's waning a bit, but it wouldn't take much to pick this back up. So if we cross this low to the downside on the histogram, that's going to look very, very bad. And I would expect us to cross below 16,340. If that happens, that would coincide with that happening. All right, so BBWP has dropped below its moving average. I mean, we're basically going sideways. Starting to roll over now, though. Starting to roll over. Let's go down to the 4-hour and zoom in a little bit. So your 21 looks like it's going to cross your 100 or 200. And you did have a multi-crossover right here as you were going sideways, as you were in the bearish control zone, which you still are in the bearish control zone below your signal line. Pretty fresh cross to the downside. If we do break this last low, basically right where we're at, I would expect us to get deep into the overextended, oversold region. MACD did have a fresh cross to the upside, but it's kind of just a little pop. Histogram momentum is also decreasing. MACD line's curling back over. As your BBWP just got out of the 10 percentile, working its way up to this moving average. The move we've been talking about is here. I mean, this is it. Let's go to the buy hourly. Once again, bearish control zone, MACD. About to get that cross to the downside. It looks like positive momentum was stable there for a minute, but it's kind of curling over. BBWP above its moving average, out of that 10 percentile region. So let's go to the 1 hour and then we'll talk about the bullish and bearish case here. Okay, so looks like we could have some sort of a bounce right here. All right, possibly up to the POC, point of control, in the VPVR. Maybe even down to 663. Basically the bottom of the POC. You are in the bearish control zone. All right, now you could have, if this is a local low, you could have a slight drive of bullish divergence, which is why I think you could come up to that 21 and your POC. MACD got rejected from that zero line, coming down. Negative momentum on that histogram is increasing as your BBWP just got above its moving average. Moving average has a positive slope. So here we go. Yeah, so bullish case. Bullish case is that you get all the way back above the 100 at 16. I'd even like to see 16,900. I would expect you to come to the top of the range and probably break out. I would expect this to be one massive bear trap. That's if we can get above 16,900. Okay. Bearish case is that you basically break down below right where we're at right now. I mean, 500 is what I'd be looking at. 16,500 right now. Basically right past these wick lows. If that happens, I do expect this to go to 16K and then probably get a bounce there. Then go down to the 15.5 region, which is the bottom of this range. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. If you guys like this video so far, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. One being the Discord. A lot of good conversation about trading, crypto, investing, markets as a whole. We stay ahead of this market collectively. We talk about these moves before they happen. We share our strategies, our trades, and much more. and we have events every single, well, not every day, but a couple times a week. We have different events on different topics. There's actually one tonight at 5, the AMA. So yeah, come ask questions, get some answers. So let's continue on to the order block charts. Okay, so did have that bull trap, that liquidity grab right here. Came into that bearish order block and got rejected. That was a nice opportunity right there. Right now, your stochastic is pointing to the upside. And you could have some bullish divergence, which is why I said I think we could head up to, that POC, somewhere around that POC right now. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at right there. Yeah, so if the stochastic does get rejected from here and cross to the downside and we break this last low, basically entering the oversold region, I would expect us to stay here for a while. I would expect us to get deep in there. Okay. And yeah, I mean, that's basically what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum rolling over, breaking out of the bottom of the range. Moving averages all have negative slopes. Entering the bearish control zone now. Slightly M pattern below your signal line. MACD getting rejected from that zero line. Pretty fresh retest and cross to the downside. Negative momentum on the histogram is increasing as your BBWP just crossed its moving average. Clear out of the 10 percentile. All right, so like I said, we could get this bounce possibly up to the 50, maybe to 1187 region, maybe the POC 1179, anywhere in that region. Basically where your POC is here to your right, anywhere in this region right here is where I would expect to bounce at. Yeah, so bullish case is that you break out of the range above 1197. And then I would expect this to be just one liquidity grab and a bear trap. Bearish case is that you break the wick low at 1155. If that happens, 1080 is the next stop. Okay. Now the bullish case, if you do break the 100, that 1200, but first you got to break out of the top of the range, obviously. But I would like to see 1200 broke. I would expect a small rejection at 1225, but ultimately I think we'd get back up to the 200, 1242, 1240 by the time you get up there. Probably come back down and retest this and then work your way up, getting rejected at each one of these VPVR levels. But that's the lesser probability, okay? I do expect some sort of a bounce here, but I really don't expect us to break the top of this range. Now, could always be wrong. There's always that lesser probability. All right, so just watch your 100 at $1,200. All right, if you're trading Ethereum. Let's go to, okay, so we are finding support on this bullish order block. Stochastic is pointed to the upside, crossing your signal line, which is why I said we could get a bounce. We could get a bounce from here. All right, so let's move on to Solana. Solana, once again, rolling over, bearish control zone, MACD getting rejected from that zero line, fresh cross to the downside, BBWP is crossing its moving average to the upside. So the volatility is going to continue. Once again, we could get a bounce up to the POC of about 1228 and the 21. I would expect a rejection from there. Looks like we're going to get that bounce right now. So yeah, just stay nimble right now. Let's go over here. Broke the bullish order block, both of them. Your stochastic is coming out of the oversold region, crossing your signal line, getting back in that bearish control zone. But I mean, that 12, what did we just say? 1216. Let's go back over here. Where's that? 1225. So anywhere between 1216 and 1225 is where I'm expecting this bounce. Okay. And that's the bullish case, is that you break the range highs at 1262. I would expect a rejection at 1276, probably back down to the range highs at 1262, and then work your way up to the 200 at 1320. Then we'll come back to it. Bearish case is that you break these wick lows at 1193. All right, next stop, $11. After that, $10. Okay, and I would expect big bounces at those levels. All right. So once again, if you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on those bell notifications so you get notified with this time-sensitive content. I wish everyone well. Everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.